Okay, picture this. You absolutely nailed the software test. Your portfolio, flawless. Your experience is basically bulletproof.
Right, you're feeling on top of the world. But then, a few days after that final interview, you get it. The dreaded, generic rejection email. And you're just sitting there thinking, what on earth went wrong?
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into some really eye-opening insights from the AI resume platform Rezit.io to figure out exactly why top-tier candidates are striking out at the absolute finish line in this fiercely competitive 2026 job market. Let's play this out. Seriously, I just don't get it. I totally crushed the technicals. I answered literally every coding question perfectly, and you've seen my resume. It's perfect. That's great. And your skills are totally undeniable on paper. But can you actually fit in with our company culture? How are you going to deliver results with our team day in and day out? And stop scene. That right there, that is the fundamental friction point. Exactly. It's that brutal moment a hiring manager's smile just kind of fades. Because honestly, no matter how elegant your code is, if they simply cannot picture working with you every single day, you're out. Think about the typical interview scorecard for a second. Your technical competencies, they make up about 75% of your grade. That's the stuff that gets your foot in the door. But here's the kicker. It's the failure to bridge that remaining 25%, that communication gap, that causes a massive 75% of job seekers to get rejected. It's wild.
It really is. It's just not enough to know how to do the job anymore. You absolutely have to prove you can execute it seamlessly alongside other human beings. So let's fix that.
All right, let's get into key one, the power of silence. Why you need to pause and why you definitely shouldn't rush. So, the most common instinct when you're nervous is to just speed up, right? You just want to get the answer out and be done with it. But rushing through your answers, it honestly just screams nervousness and a lack of prep. Interviewers are really looking for this sense of quiet confidence.
Right. So instead of panicking and filling the dead air with awkward filler words, the ums, likes, and you knows, you use the think aloud technique to buy yourself some processing time. You literally just say, that's a great question, let me think for a moment.
Exactly. By saying that out loud, you validate their question and you give your brain a crucial, panic-free second to actually organize your thoughts. And then you do this. Okay, so that was a deliberate 2-second pause. Did that dead air feel just a little bit uncomfortable to you?
Oh, for sure. We are completely wired to fill the silence.
Exactly. But to an interviewer, letting the silence settle doesn't signal hesitation at all. It's actually a super powerful positive signal of thoughtfulness. It shows you're measured and entirely in control. Rezit.io actually shared this incredible story about a software engineer who was totally rushing his behavioral answers. He was just rattling off his achievements like he was reading a super boring grocery list. But once he deliberately practiced pacing himself, adding those strategic pauses we just talked about, everything changed. He literally ended up landing a senior role at a top-tier FANG company. Silence, quite literally, made his stories land with maximum impact. Which brings us to key 2, articulate with emphasis. This is all about varying your tone to really captivate the room. A monotone delivery will absolutely flatline the energy in the room. Great communicators treat their voice like an instrument, and knowing exactly when to shift those gears is absolutely crucial.
Like this. When the market shifted, we pivoted quickly.
And as a result, we increased revenue by 40%.
Notice the difference there? You let your voice rise and speed up to convey excitement and fast action. But when you're dropping a massive, highly important metric, like, say, a huge revenue growth number, you take it low and slow. It subconsciously tells the interviewer, hey, pay attention. This right here matters.
All right, moving right along to key 3, craft coherent stories. Making sure you always answer why, how, who, and what. Look, interviewers do not want a data dump. If they wanted a dry list of facts, they'd literally just reread your resume. You have got to transform those boring bullet points into a compelling narrative, and the STAR method is your best friend here.
Exactly. Step 1 is the situation. Give them the context of what actually happened.
Step 2 is the task. Explain who was involved and what the overarching goal was.
Step 3 is the action. And listen up, this is absolutely critical. Detail exactly how you acted, not just what the team did.
And finally, step 4 is the result. Tell them why it mattered and the tangible impact it had. But here is the golden, unbreakable rule for storytelling. Keep it concise. Your absolute maximum limit for any single story is exactly 2 minutes. Anything longer than that, and you seriously risk losing the interviewer's attention entirely. You want to keep your narrative tight, punchy, and directly tied back to how your experience mirrors the exact challenges they're currently facing. Okay, key 4, speak their language. This is all about finding that perfect balance between jargon and everyday words. This one is a really delicate balancing act. Candidates so often fall into a trap where they either use way too many buzzwords and end up sounding like a corporate robot, or they speak way too casually and inadvertently undermine their own expertise.
The best fix here is to enforce a strict 20% maximum rule for industry jargon. Basically, only 1/5 of your technical explanation should rely on deep, inside baseball industry terms. The remaining 80% should be delivered in plain, approachable English. It's the perfect ratio.
So imagine going in and saying something stiff like, I optimized UX heuristics.
Yikes. See, if you walk into an interview and say that, you run a huge risk of alienating half the room who might not be deep in the design weeds.
Exactly. Now, try something warmer, like I boosted user engagement by simply simplifying the UI.
See how much better that is? You mix that tiny bit of jargon with plain English, and suddenly everyone in the room understands your exact value. It proves you have the technical chops, sure, but more importantly, it proves you're a great collaborative cultural fit.
Which perfectly sets up key 5, authenticity wins hearts, being unapologetically you. Look, forcing a totally fake corporate persona is inevitably going to backfire. If you try to be a chameleon to fit what you think they want, you'll just end up sounding hollow. You have to let your true personality shine. Like this amazing quote from the source material. Debugging felt like untangling a quantum knot.
I seriously love that line. If you're a huge nerd for sci-fi analogies, use them. Share your natural quirks. Let your genuine enthusiasm for the work actually come through. Some interviewers are going to love your humor. Others will love your precision. But being unapologetically yourself is literally the only way to find a team where you'll truly thrive.
All right, now we need to step into the danger zone. Let's look at some common pitfalls and what you absolutely need to avoid in 2026. Let's do a quick-fire breakdown of the most frequent ways candidates unintentionally self-sabotage.
First up, filler overload. You got to cut out like basically and honestly. Just use a pause instead.
Second, rambling past that 2-minute mark. Like we said earlier, wrap it up.
Third, negative talk about past roles. Never do this. Always frame past challenges positively. Call them tough, but incredibly rewarding.
And finally, ignoring your nonverbals. You absolutely have to actively engage with your body language. And the reason nonverbals are on that list, a staggering 55% of your communication is entirely based on your body language. That is huge. It makes smiling, nodding, and maintaining really strong eye contact, or, camera gaze if you're on a virtual call, absolutely non-negotiable. Your body is speaking just as loudly as your words, if not louder. All right, let's turn all this theory into a real action plan. Here is your 2026 playbook for putting it all together. Okay, here's a quick 3-step prep strategy that you can literally start the second this explainer ends. Step 1, rehearse those star stories directly from your resume. Step 2, conduct mock interviews. Practice in the mirror, grab a friend, or use AI tools like the ones on Rezit.io's dashboard to lock in these 5 communication keys. Seriously, do not skip this step. Step 3, track your feedback progress. Keep a log of what feels right and what doesn't, and constantly refine your delivery. Which leaves us with one final, very important question. You have the skills, but can you speak them to success?
Technical abilities just get you in the door. It's your communication that actually seals the deal. Take these strategies, go out there, and turn that maybe into a definitive, absolutely yes job offer.
Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and happy interviewing.